Most SEO competitor analysis tutorials leave you with a spreadsheet full of keywords that you'll never get around to, and a backlink list for 5 competitors that you have no idea how to prioritize. In other words, you get a big long to-do list that never gets done. I'm Chris, and in this video, I want to show you a faster approach that you can scale as much as you need. And in 10 minutes, you'll know exactly what competitor data to gather and how to package it in a way that you can actually take action on immediately. Let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is download this spreadsheet template, which I have included in the description below. And this is all set up and ready to go to allow you to analyze one competitor at a time for 3 key areas, which I will cover in the course of this video. We're going to start with some basic information about your brand and your competitor's brand. Now, these numbers are just to be used as a baseline for now. We're not going to pay too much attention to the specifics. It's really so that once you've performed a competitor analysis, taken action, and then maybe a month down the line, you can come back and understand how things have shifted. For example, whether your AI visibility has increased compared to your competitors, or whether they've made gains in the organic keywords that you're ranking for compared to you. So fill this out for your own brand first, and then the first competitor that you want to analyze. I'll do that now, and then I'll come back whenever it's filled in. So I filled this out. I used SEMrush domain overview to gather data on the AI visibility, mentions, that kind of thing for Brand Trade, which are coffee subscription service. I'm going to use them as the example throughout this video, and the first competitor we're going to analyze is Beanbox. So in SEMrush domain overview, I just pulled out various metrics like AI visibility, authority score, and that kind of thing to give us our baseline, and I've added the date that we analyzed this so that we can use that as a reference point going forward. If you don't know which competitors to use for this analysis, scroll down in the domain overview tool to the main organic competitors section. You'll see here these are your main rivals that are competing for the same kind of keywords as you in organic search results. Now, these might not be the same as your business competitors. These are the businesses that you're competing with in search specifically. So now that we have that set up, our next step is to perform a keyword gap analysis. And this is where we will find keywords that our rivals are ranking for that we are not. And the idea is that we want to fill those gaps where they are relevant and important for our business by creating great content, adding new pages, that kind of thing. So to do this, I will go to SEMrush's keyword gap tool and I will enter our domain, and you'll see if you click on the add domain for your competitor, also lists a bunch of rivals here. So you can choose from any of these or add your own. I'm going to go with Beanbox and I'm going to hit compare. So when this loads in, you'll see it gives you an overview of the kind of keyword overlap. And then if you scroll down here, there's a more detailed list, and we want to click on this missing tab. These are all the keywords that our rival, Beanbox in this case, the ones that they are ranking for that we are currently not. You can see there's about 6,000, so that's quite a lot to work with here. And I did say that this was going to be a fast and efficient setup, so we're going to apply some filters here. So the first filter that I am going to add is for position. We're going to go for competitors and top 10. Now, this just ensures that we are only looking at keywords that our rivals actually ranking quite well for. Next, I'm going to add a volume filter. Now, you can add whatever you want here. You don't need to add one at all. This is mainly just to prioritize the keywords loosely based on potential search demand. We're not really too worried about specific volumes here, and it's really just to further bring that list of 6,000 keywords down to something a bit more manageable. I'm going to add a keyword difficulty filter. I'm going to make it 49 as a maximum. You can see that will cover possible, easy, and very easy keywords. Again, you can tune this based on your own site's authority, the kind of keywords you want to go after. I'm just going to use this for example's sake. You don't need to fill out anything here, but this is a good way to find lower hanging fruit keywords. Next, I'm going to add in an intent filter because I'm most interested in commercial and transactional keywords for this analysis. These are keywords that are more likely to lead to conversions than just informational keywords and terms where people are just asking for definitions or simple answers to questions. So I'll click apply, and then the final filter I'm going to add is I'm going to exclude brand name keywords. So I'm going to exclude Beanbox because you'll find that your rivals are probably ranking quite well for their brand keywords and you're not going to compete with them. Cutting them out of this step just further streamlines the list. So you can see I've cut it down to 168 keywords, and from here I just want to go through these, pick out the keywords that look like they are most relevant to our business, and then we're going to add them to our spreadsheet. You can see I've found a keyword that is relevant to our business, and that's coffee gift baskets. I've added search volume and keyword difficulty. The numbers here aren't super important. Like I mentioned when we were going through the filters, this is just to bake in a little bit of prioritization from the outset because this is designed to be a quick and easy competitor analysis approach that doesn't require much filtering later on. And the idea is you'll end up with a list of say 10 to 15 keywords here that you can take action on, and you know there is some search demand and they shouldn't be too difficult to rank for. Again, your thresholds can vary here. So these related keywords, I got them by jumping back into keyword gap, finding the relevant keyword and just clicking into it. It opens up a keyword overview window. You can see some more information here, but if we scroll down, we have keyword ideas, and there are 956 for this keyword, so I don't probably want to go through all of them. I just want to take a look at the most likely relevant ones that maybe have high volume and hopefully low keyword difficulty as well. And I can do the same kind of thing for questions. So I've added some of these to our related keywords and related questions boxes, and the next thing to do is look at the content type or structure of the competitor article or post or page that is ranking for this keyword. So if I jump back to this keyword overview page, you can see down here the SERP all laid out for us, and if we click into this icon here, we can see the Beanbox page that ranks for this. So you can see it's a product category page. They have various different products, gifts, and various offers and gift sets, but there's not much content on the page. So that's the first thing I'm noticing as a competitor, and that okay, they are ranking for coffee gift baskets with a fairly thin page that mainly just targets coffee gifts as the keyword. So if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking we could definitely replicate this, but we could also do much better. So I can add some notes to the notes column. For example, here, I've just said it's thin on content, and if we add more helpful context, we could hopefully make our page more visible. If it's you that's going to be acting on this analysis and you're not passing it on to someone else, just take whatever notes are most useful for you. But if you're going to be passing this on to like a content team or even directly to a writer, you might want to flesh this out with what you want your content to contain, what you don't want to replicate from the competitor, and that kind of thing. So you can be as brief or as detailed as you like here. This information here, the related keywords and the related questions, are really like seeds for your content brief. So when it comes time to actually planning each individual piece of content, you'll want to take this further. You'll want to look into the SERP, you'll want to consider AI prompts and what kind of pages are ranking in search, but also which kind of pages are appearing for AI tool responses to similar queries, and you'll use that information to put together a more comprehensive brief for you or a writer. So this is just the first stage of that process, and this should hopefully help you create the right piece of content for the right keywords. Next up is an AI topic gap analysis. So this is quite similar to the keyword gap analysis, but as you might expect, this is really to close the gap between us and our competitors' AI visibility rather than just traditional search visibility. So to do this, we're going to use the competitor research tool within the SEMrush AI visibility toolkit. So you'll see it's laid out quite similarly to the keyword gap tool. You enter your own domain and then again add your competitors or use one of the suggestions. Again, we're going to go with Beanbox. We're going to hit run competitor analysis, and you'll see you get a page that looks a bit like this. You'll see some information for the two brands that you've selected over time in terms of AI visibility, but if you scroll down to the topics and prompt section and then click on missing, much like we did with the keyword gap, you'll see all of the topics that your competitor is appearing for that you are not. And we're going to basically look for topics that are relevant to our business, and then we're going to click into each one to get some relevant prompts that we can add to our sheet that we can then target with our content. So the first topic that I looked at that I thought was relevant was caffeine and coffee and its effects. First of all, you can see there's an AI volume number here. This is for the entire topic of caffeine and coffee. It's not for any individual prompt, but it's still useful directionally to understand the kind of relationship and the trends across these different topics and how often they are being asked about in AI tools. And if we click into this, we can see we get some prompts here and the answers to those prompts from the AI tools. So the relevant prompt here is how much caffeine is in a 20 ounce coffee, and we're going to add that to our spreadsheet here. And the cited page is the page that if we click into this response, we can see down here, this is the Beanbox page that is being cited within this response. So if we click on this, we can see this page, and overall it's not the most detailed piece of content, but one thing I also noticed is that it hasn't been updated since 2021. Now, we know AI tools often prioritize fresh content, and so that immediately to me looks like an opportunity for us to create our own piece of content that is much more up to date, much more detailed, maybe adding some structured data in the form of tables, and these are all things that I could add to the notes column. You can see here I've mentioned that it hasn't been updated since 2021, and we can create a better version. Again, you can be as brief or as detailed as you like here. The cited page type, again, this looks like a blog post to me, but this could also be product pages, landing pages. It could even just be the homepage of the site that's appearing for different terms. So noting that down helps you understand, okay, do we need to create a new blog post? Does it need to take a specific format, or is it likely that one of our commercial pages is going to rank for this term, and so should we just update that rather than adding a new entire page? So the final stage of this competitor analysis is a backlink gap analysis. Similar to the keyword gap and the AI visibility gap, what we're trying to do here is find opportunities where our competitors have links that we don't have, and hopefully links that we can get ourselves. So to perform this analysis, I'm going to jump into SEMrush's backlinks tool. Now, you just enter your competitor domain here, click analyze, and you will get an overview of the site's authority, backlinks, that kind of thing. We want to jump to the backlinks tab specifically. So I've added some filters here, and I'll walk through why we've added each one. First of all, we've gone for active links because we only really care about links that the site currently has. Now I'm going to choose all here. You could choose follow if you want to avoid no follow, sponsored, or UGC links. We are going to select link placement in the content because we don't care about navigational links, that kind of thing. And in the type, we're going to go for text as well. So I found a link here from the Spruce Eats, and it has a page authority score of 47. And you can see that the anchor text is somebody's name and it's linking to an author page. Now, if I go to the actual page, search for the author's name, you can see it's in the form of a quote. There's an opportunity here to provide our own quote and reach out to the site to see if they would take our quote and add our own link. And given that the page was updated within the past year, they might be open to adding a new quote in there. And the page has quite high authority, so getting a link from this site could be very useful. As you work through the other potential backlinks, you'll find other types of pages, obviously. In this case, it was an author page, but a lot of sites will be linking to product pages, landing pages, even home pages, and this helps you understand what kind of content you might need to update to get the link, what kind of content you might need to reach out with, or what kind of new content you might need to create. The main thing to keep in mind when performing this is to ask yourself if you can actually create the piece of content that your competitor has created. Is it achievable with your expertise, your budget, your resources, the writers and staff that you have on your team? Is it unique to that brand? Is it unique to a relationship between that brand and the linking site? And are multiple competitors getting links within that piece of content? Because if multiple competitors getting links on the same page, there's a reasonable chance you could also be worthy of getting a link. So we've now performed a quick and effective keyword gap analysis, AI visibility gap analysis, and a backlink gap analysis. The idea is that you will go through this spreadsheet, fill it out with 10 to 15 of each, and work on closing those gaps as a starting point. I recommend starting with 15 because it will leave you with enough to create new pieces of content or new outreach targets for backlinks, but not so much that you then don't know which ones to prioritize. That's the beauty of this setup, is that it has prioritization built in. Now, if you have multiple rivals that you want to perform this analysis for, just duplicate the page, fill it all out with their details, and then go through the keyword gap, AI topic gap, and backlink gap analysis for them. Now, you can perform all three of these analyses that I've gone over within one platform with a SEMrush One subscription. It gives you access to a host of SEO and AI visibility tools that you can use to analyze your competitors and make decisions based on data rather than guesswork. You can sign up for a SEMrush One subscription via the link in the description below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.